Okay, good.
Yeah.
It doesn't work, Mike. Okay, good morning. I'm Haley. I'm here to talking about the Famy and Link. Our mission is to create and use location data. In your lifetime, you have many things of tracking people or the couples, smartphone, keys, which is very easy to lost. Sometimes it happens to the between couples. Famy is an application to track people between the smartphone. As important as tracking people accurately, you have to keep in privacy. So after you download a Famy, you can create the private group to whoever you want to track with, and you can see the people on the map, something like that. And you can also track things with this device called Link. Link is a beacon device working with Famy to show its location on Famy. You can track people between the smartphone or things with this little device, Link. Let's see how does it work. So I'm here, my coworker is on the other side of the room, and it tracks where the location is. And even though you're underground or inside the building, it tracks your location to show. Famy has been serviced over a year with our own location logic. And there are many different ways you can use for Famy and Link. So runners, they are tracking their location since we provide you 10 days long location histories. And the couples, they love to stalking each other. And of course, families or business organizations, for example, the teachers who want to keep safe their children, or the companies who send a lot of businessmen to the business trip. We're very strong in Asia. Famy has been downloaded 1.2 million, and we are getting over 200 millions of data from every month. And they're using a crowd resourcing, a link is caught about 60% per day. I'll explain what's the meaning of this one. These results are the people who downloaded Famy right now near the station. This is pretty a lot. And look closely. This green area is a DDP, and we track you even though you're inside of a building. I cannot identify who they are, but still, without my scanner, I bring this link to run over the DDP. These people catch the location to send my Famy to show. We provide you meaningful crowd resourcing. There are some places you must know where your location is all the time. For example, the kindergarten, it has been very big issues about the safety. Or the mental hospital, doctors, nurses, they have to know where their patients are. Or the Alzheimer's Senior Center, families always wanted to know their family members whether safe or not. For that, we installed a long-range scanner at the building to catch your 100% of your location from our little Link device. Location market is huge. Many of those large companies are asking you to collecting current location every time. But only Famy has group information or histories or get location data for very naturally. Because the users, the Famy users, they want to share or use or tracking the location with us. Location data is valuable, but with history or group information is much valuable. We want to use this large location data for big inspiration. So let's say a while back ago, airline company doesn't have airline system and the mileage system. And then they realize they're starting with the mileage system for little promotions. And then they realize that it's really good for the collecting location for promotions or marketing. And then now, many of the airline companies have a lot of cooperate with credit card companies or renting car companies for knowing where they're buying, staying, or getting in, getting out. This market is one of the hugest market right now. Imagine the combining location data from Famy and Link with this industry. It's going to be very powerful at the marketing, of course, and it's going to be very useful to the city planning or even in military too. The market potential is huge. We are looking for Series A with $30 million to get a very meaningful M&A. And then my team is very strong and they're very expert in this field. And I'm confidently say we are the market leader in this one. Thank you.
Any questions? 제가 먼저 할게요. What's your monthly growth rate right now?
Pardon me?
What's your month-on-month growth rate? What's your month-on-month growth rate at this point?
Month-on-month?
How fast are you growing each month now?
The Famy has been working for a year so far. And the link has been just 3 months to coming out. And then we are the only one, the first one to the getting out with my link.
Yeah.
And then because we start with the Famy first to that one, to the giving you the crowd resourcing first.
Right. So there's kind of both a consumer and an enterprise component to your company. And I often think it's important that these kinds of companies have a unique go-to-market strategy or a unique marketing channel. What's your unique marketing channel?
Actually, we first start with schools, the kindergarten schools, because this one's working with the families between that one. And then we realized this is really good for, as I explained, the buildings or the companies or the hospital, something like that. And realized, okay, the business to business kind of work too. So right now, we are not only focused on selling this one. This is going to be just a little one. But we're gonna strategy is just cooperate with the big companies who have scanners or those kind of things. Yeah.
Hello. Do you have any sort of plans for the selling off the Bluetooth network so that other applications or anything could utilize that information, not just from the company, but being able to take advantage of what install base that you have out there?
Oh, Famy will link both one?
Perhaps some sort of marketplace could be between
Famy
Google or smaller companies or anything.
Famy is going to be, actually the sound is very small. The Famy is, actually we provide you the APK for the localization for in China or Japan. Even we have a Chinese or Japanese version for that one. It's like China, the Google Maps we are using for locations, but Google Maps doesn't work. So we provide them to having the Baidu map for that one, to tracking, something like that. And then we open sources for the beacon. For the Famy, any kind of beacon can come to the tracking location with that one.
저는 한국말로 하겠습니다. 아까 세이프티 존 관련한 내용을 보면 링크 스캐너라는 장치가 파워포인트에 있었는데 실제로 링크 스캐너의 역할을 하는 별도의 장비가 필요한 건지 아니면 스마트폰에 그거를 대체할 수 있는 건지 아마도 전자일 것 같은데 어떤 건지를 여쭤보고 싶어요.
한국말로 대답할게요. 먼저 스마트폰은 당연히 링크를 읽을 수 있어요. 왜냐하면 저희 말씀했듯이 크라우드 리소싱이 되기 때문에 당연히 블루투스로 할 수 있는데 예를 들면은 킨더가든 같은 경우에는 당연히 뭐 선생님들 갖고 있겠지만 선생님 혼자 갖고 있다고 해서 모든 애들 다 커버할 수 있는 건 아니잖아요. 뭐 플레이그라운드도 있고 그러니까 그런 거를 위해서 저희가 스캐너를 설치한다는 거고 100% 커버에이지를 위해서 하는 거예요. 왜냐면 크라우드 리소싱 같은 경우는 핸드폰 같은 경우는 20m, 30m밖에 블루투스가 가지 않는데 저 같은 경우는 보시다시피 50m에서 100m 정도 가거든요.
지금 스캐너 장비가 지금 런칭이 되어 있는 상황은 아닌 거죠?
저희 6월 달에 런칭됩니다.
6월 달에
네, 저희가 지금 네고시에이트가 되고 있고 이제 인스톨 해가지고 테스트 중이거든요. 그래가지고 지금 실제로는 그러니까 예를 들면 지금 실제 저희가 하는 테스트가 뭐냐면 백화점에다가 링크 스캐너 다 설치해놨어요. 그래서 아이들하고 엄마하고 같이 오는 사람들한테 링크를 하나씩 주는 거예요. 애가 어디 있는지 잃어버리지 않기 위해서. 지금 거의 하고 있는데 6월 달에 런칭됩니다.
저희 비즈니스 모델에서 보면 사람 로케이션 기반으로 해서 뭐 광고라든지 이제 이쪽으로 가실 거잖아요. 그러면 이렇게 유니버설한 트래킹이 돼야 되는데 뭐 비슷한 질문인 것 같아요. 저희 스마트폰으로 하는 거는 이해는 갔고요. 링크로 하게 되면 특별한 존을 만드셔야 되는데 그러면 그 인프라스트럭처를 다 저희가 빌드아웃을 하실 계획을 가지고 계신 건가요?
네, 저희 실제로 스마트폰으로 하는 거는 저희가 지금 스캐너를 까는 이유처럼 그런 이유로 하는 거고요. 링크로 가게 되면은 링크 스캐너를 해주고 링크 하나당 빌려주는 가격을 받는 거죠. 한 달에 얼마 이런 식으로 플랜으로 가는 거게 되는 거예요. 지금 그렇게 저희가 잡고 있습니다.
네, 마지막 질문 있어요. 만약에 5년 후에 in 5 years, if this company is a failure for some reason, what will have been the reason?
What happened to
If for some reason this
We're gonna
company is
fail,
not
yeah,
successful in
for
5
5
years,
years.
why would that have happened? Why will that have happened?
Let's see. Why? Because of too many competitors, I guess. No, actually not. Maybe the people are afraid of like sharing their location together. Maybe that one. But as you said, you're already putting a lot of your location on the like a social network. It's already happened. So I don't believe it's gonna be get propped down within the 5 years. I think I'm seeing myself in the 5 years. I'm gonna be big successful. I've never thought about it.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. My pleasure.
네, 헨리 고생했습니다. 네, 내려가시면 됩니다.
Hello everyone, my name is Taeyong Park, founder and CEO of EDUCAST. One great course can change your life. And I believe that no one should be deprived of this opportunity just because they don't know how to find one. Back in 2012, I wanted to study something called 3-year series. And I couldn't find a suitable online course. But the funny thing was, I knew so many people who could teach it with small amount of reward. I wanted to solve this problem. I wanted to fill the gap between the people who need various courses and the people who can teach it. So, EDUCAST is a marketplace for online video lectures. As a marketplace, we focus on diversity of courses. Sorry for that. We started this business 3 years ago. And first, when we started, when we tried out to convince people to upload their courses, it was a really hard job. Because making courses is not really easy, and there are not many things to share. But after we gathered 10,000 users, now it's really easy to convince people, everyone to upload their courses. And we now have more than 500 courses published, which is 2,500 hours of lectures, and 17,000 users and 24,000 of enrollments. I know there are many other education services out there, so I wanted to introduce how EDUCAST differentiate from them. So first, the product. I consider myself as an engineer. All the co-founders, 3 of us, majored in computer engineering. So we like to talk about how the service called Twitch got so successful, despite of all the huge video streaming services like YouTube or Ustream. When you looked it up, we realized that it was just the product, the little big things that was built in the product. So what would be the little big things for education platform? This subject, we were working on this subject for several months now, and we made a conclusion that when it comes to education, the most important thing is achievements. When you watch video lectures, you don't do it just for fun. You have goals to accomplish. So the new version of EDUCAST, which comes out this summer, we focused on helping people to actually finish what they started, the course they started. We put lots of concepts from gamification and smart notification and those kind of stuff. And our goal is to raise the finishing rate to 70%, which is now around 20% to 30% for most of the education services. So let's take a look at the market. I know many of people here will think Korean education, online education market is kind of old, steady market that is not interesting anymore for startups. But when you look closely, there's really interesting going on. In 2012, the major area, which was college entrance and foreign language, took 77% of the whole market, whole B2C online education market. But this rate dropped to 33% after 2 years. Meanwhile, the long-tail education market tripled the market size during 2 years. So what happened here? The long-tail market is getting heavier and heavier. And in the long-tail market, many small content providers and individual teachers have hard time because of lack of distribution market, cost for technology, or the rapid trend shifts. So this is the place where EDUCAST comes in. We help individual teachers or small content providers can go into a market without any initial cost. And that means you can stay focused on the content, not the market. We have 2 competitors in Korea right now, direct competitors, but we are doing far better, which means we have more users and courses than 2 of them combined. So, okay, although we focus on Korean market right now, we are looking for partners here who can help us to expand our service to foreign countries. We're especially interested in Asian market, starting from Japan. We already have Japan. We already have a partner company, but the next target is Taiwanese market. So, if you're interested, our booth is right next to the exit. So, come by, please. And this is our team. Actually, we have 7 members, but 2 of them wanted to charge me model fee, so I couldn't put in their pictures. But we started this team in Seoul National University. We all majored in computer engineering. We were like game buddies. And we found out that we share a common ambition. And we knew we are the people who learn fast and patient. So this is pretty much it. And thank you for listening.
아까 발표하실 때 2개의 경쟁자들이 있는데 경쟁사들보다 저희가 훨씬 더 잘하고 있다라고 말씀해 주셨잖아요.
예.
저희의 가장 중요한 경쟁력은 뭘까요? 그리고 이 특정한 온라인 교육 사업을 시작하시게 된 계기 뭐 이런 게 있으면 좀 듣고 싶은데.
예, 그 계기부터 먼저 답변을 드리겠습니다. 제가 처음 시작했을 때는 앞에 프레젠테이션 제일 첫 부분에 좀 나왔었는데 제가 찾고 싶은 강좌, 그러니까 저는 고등학교 때 온라인 강의를 보고 자란 세대고 그래서 대학 와서도 배우고 싶은 것들이 너무 많은데 온라인으로 찾다가 딱 고등학교 입시까지만 있고 그 뒤로는 없다는 사실을 깨닫게 되었습니다. 근데 이제 저랑 비슷하게 온라인 강의에 익숙해진 세대들은 거기에 대한 수요가 있을 거라고 생각을 했고 그 와중에 이제 그 한국의 앱스토어가 막 도입되던 시기였는데 마켓플레이스 모델이 그거를 해결해 줄 수 있다는 확신을 가지고 그렇게 사업을 시작하게 되었습니다. 그리고 경쟁사 같은 경우에는 이제 2 군데가 더 있는데요. 한 군데 저희가 지금 훨씬 잘하고 있는 이유는 사실은 딱 한 가지로 단정 짓기는 힘든 것 같습니다. 근데 첫 번째는 이 롱테일 마켓에 있는 사람들은 웹사이트 자체, 그러니까 제품 자체에도 굉장히 관심이 많으세요. 자기가 퍼블리시하는 제품에도 관심이 많은데 저희 경쟁자 지금 2 번째로 잘하고 있는 경쟁자는 웹사이트를 안 만들어 놓은 상태로 컨텐츠 모으는 데 열중을 했는데 저희는 이제 제품을 만드는 데 집중했던 게 좀 주요한 원인이었던 것 같고요. 그리고 그 뒤로는 이제 한번 고객들이 저희한테 제일 많이 몰리고 문화가 형성되고 나니까 이제 3개 중에 하나를 선택해야 되면 저희를 선택하게 그렇게 된 것 같습니다. 예.
예. 마켓플레이스 모델을 지금 지향하고 계시는데 지금 컨텐츠를 공급할 때 그러니까 받아들일 때 어떤 절차를 거치는지.
사실 저희가 제일 많이 질문 받는 게 퀄리티 컨트롤. 어떻게 특정 품질 이상의 컨텐츠를 보장할 거냐인데 사실 저희가 그것 때문에 걱정을 많이 하면서 다양한 제도들을 만들어 놨는데 막상 해보니까 그런 제도들을 쓸 일이 없더라고요. 그래서 결국에는 그 웹사이트에 올라오는 컨텐츠의 질은 그 웹사이트에 이미 올라온 컨텐츠들에서 묻어나는 문화에서 나온다고 저는 생각을 하거든요. 그래서 저희가 딱 제재를 한 번 가한 적이 있는데 그거는 출판사에서 자기 교재를 썼다는 저작권 클레임 한 번이었고 나머지 같은 경우에는 컨텐츠 한 번도 그 고객들이 보고 불만이 생겨서 문제가 된 적은 없습니다.
그 비즈니스 모델이 강의를 들을 때 30% 커미션 피를 받는 걸로 알고 있는데 그 피 비율은 앱스토어 비율을 그냥 따라왔다고 보는 건가요? 보면
예,
되나요?
사실은 30%는 완전 고정된 비율이고요. 당분간은 바꿀 생각은 없습니다. 예.
Do you have any sort of subject matter specialties specifically that you're strong in now or that you would like to be strong in the future?
In certain area, like
Yes, so whether it be tech learning or I suppose what sort of demographic is it that you're really aiming for in terms of the people visiting?
So I understand platforms still need killer contents, right? So we are focusing on, right now. We are focusing on education for startups, which I am here right now, to be honest. And we are also doing courses for college students. So we are basically targeting people who are in their 20s. So, yeah.
So I love long tail businesses, but I hate having to deal with the long tail itself.
Okay.
So how do you guys think about personalization for your users? How do you guys think about the data science behind the platform to surface up relevant content that are specific to each user coming to your site?
Yeah, so actually our long-term plan, we have 4 steps. I think education, when you see education as delivering knowledge, it starts from generating content and then accumulating, like making enough data to recommend the content. And then there's a site where I can personalize it, which is most of the recommendation, where most of the recommendation happens. And then there's a delivery side. Delivery side is not really big problem these days because all the technology. But the recommendation side was always our like long-term plan, what we want to do. But if we want to do that, first we have to have enough content to recommend. So that's what we're doing right now. But like in long term, maybe like 3 to 5 years, after we get enough content to, like personalize for everyone, and then we will start doing those kind of personalization. And actually, the engineers who are sitting right there, they wrote papers on machine learnings and all kind of stuff. So I'm sure we have this enough potential to do that. Yeah.
My only suggestion would be to start that right now, actually.
Okay.
Don't wait.
Thank you.
Nice job. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your pitching. 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
Hi everyone, I'm Daniel Chan, CEO and co-founder of JANDI. We're creating the next generation of collaboration software for companies across Asia. We cater to knowledge workers like you in tech, media, and services who not only want their working lives to be simpler and more productive, but also want their workplace to be more open, personal, and enjoyable. We're currently piloting our product with some of the hottest names in the sector, including Ticketmonster and Yellow Mobile, and we'll be launching our service to the public in the coming months. All of us here know well the pains of email. Collectively, we spend over 50% of our work time just managing our inbox and searching for information. 50%. That's 50% of our workday wasted. It's not that email itself is the big issue. It's just that it's been adopted for purposes it was never really meant to serve. File sharing, calendaring, project management. I mean, just think about it. It really shouldn't be that difficult to add another team member to your project group, right? But instead, you have to go back, forward every email, every attachment, every calendar invite that you've shared to date just to get them up to speed. And every time you go through one of these experiences, you think to yourself, there must be an app for that. And in fact, you realize there is, except it's not the tool that your company is providing to you. No, instead, they're forcing you to use that crappy old groupware, or even worse, Office 365, right? And so it's no wonder that 93% of consumers today are taking their applications from home into the workplace for work. This is a trend that's already played out in a big way in the US and especially Silicon Valley, but what they've seen is that they fragmented their communication channels so much that they now need a tool like Slack to piece it all back together. Here in Asia, though, you and I use Kakao in the workplace, but true collaboration tools like Asana or Trello, they have yet to take off. So we have an opportunity to leapfrog this entire issue by creating an integrated platform that takes the best of various apps, builds and innovates on them, and makes them our own. So how do you actually do that? How do you actually create a platform that is super intuitive and user-friendly, yet retains the power of specialized enterprise software and is applicable and valuable to every person in any given organization? You start at the lowest common denominator. You start with the tool that everybody from the developer to the salesperson already knows and loves: messaging. We then extend that for work by making it group-oriented, persistent, and searchable. We sprinkle in essential collaboration features like file sharing, task management, calendaring that we think are universally required for managing day-to-day workflow. And finally, to take into account unique preferences and requirements, especially when you have users from different departments, right? We connect with other applications like Google Docs and Dropbox to become the central hub for all of your collaboration needs. So let me show you what that actually looks like in practice. This is one of our clients, First Penguin. They're an interior design and architecturing firm that helps companies build commercial spaces from scratch. Given the nature of their work, they need to collaborate with their design team, communicate with the construction workers on site, and share a ton of photos and documents. In the past, they've used a mix of email and Kakao for communication, Kakao groups for photo sharing, and Dropbox for file sharing. But that became overwhelming over time to manage because all of their information and communication flow was scattered. Well, we helped them resolve that. Now using JANDI, they create a dedicated space for every one of their projects where they can upload and share photos, floor plans, and other files. Using that same communication channel, they can talk amongst each other and between the office and the field. If they ever need to look for something, they use our message and file search to jump to a specific piece of the conversation history. And finally, when the project is complete, they take all the files in the JANDI file drawer and create a photo album for their clients to show them how this project came to life from start to finish. I mean, that's freaking awesome, right? And that's exactly the type of story that we expect every one of our users and the type of value that we expect every one of our users to realize when they use our product. So that's why we allow our customers to use our product for free forever. And we have premium plans that cater to heavily active teams and enterprise customers that require additional security and administration. Going forward, we'll also open up our API to take advantage of the community and platform that we've built. As you can see, it's a bottoms-up driven approach. We focus first on our user and our product, right? This is an approach that's worked very well in the US. I mean, just look at Evernote or Dropbox as examples. But that alone is not enough in Asia because the culture is conservative, decision-making processes are still rigid. That's part of the reason why companies like Evernote have stumbled as they've tried to make their way across the pond. So what we've done to address that is build a 20-person business team that will go back over the top and educate your employer why they should be using our product across the organization. As many of you have heard, enterprise messaging anchored platforms have already started to take off in the US. Most notably, you have Slack, which raised at a $3 billion valuation. But you also have other services like KoTap and TigerText that have raised multi-million-dollar funding rounds. They're already proving the value of enterprise social in the US. But when you look across to Asia, where the opportunity is actually larger by a mile, you have a number of small competitors, but no clear contender. And we think we'll be the ones to do it. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to execution. And we have an awesome team of 45 members across Korea, Taiwan, and Japan who bring not only technical talent and business savvy, but also have experience building and scaling businesses from the ground up. Again, we're JANDI. We're here to revolutionize communication and collaboration in workplaces across Asia. We're attacking a multi-billion-dollar problem with the right solution at the right time, and we have the right team to do it. Thank you.
So I have to say, I actually love this product.
Thank you very much.
But I'm going to ask you the same question I asked the first entrepreneur. In 5 years from now, if JANDI has failed, what will have been the reason?
To be honest, I think it will come down to execution at the end of the day, because I think the market opportunity is there. It's obvious that this is a problem, right? If all you do is save 2-3% of a worker's time at work and just make them that much more productive, you're saving huge amounts of cost from the salaries of all these employers. That's part of the reason why Ticketmonster uses their service. They talk about the thousands of employees that they have, and if all you did was subtract 2%, it'd be worthwhile. And I think it's the right opportunity and the right time. And we've seen that this product actually works in the US, right? And there's no reason why it shouldn't work here. So I think what we've seen is that customers are already demanding our product. That's how we know that it will work or it will be taken up, right? Everybody's using Kakao in the workplace. 93% of people use Kakao in the workplace, which means they're looking for a tool which is enterprise messaging based for work that is acceptable by the employees and the employers. So I don't think there's really a question of whether we can do it. It's a matter of can we do it better than the competitors out there.
What is it that you would say is your defining characteristic that makes you better than Slack if Slack were to make a concerted effort to enter this market?
Yeah. So don't get me wrong. I love Slack. I think they found a huge market problem, and they created a great solution to address it. And frankly, we take a lot of inspiration from them, and we benchmark many of our product features and usability off of Slack. But having said that, outside of having an enterprise messaging platform at the heart of our service and having integrations broadly defined, we're actually playing in a very different space. And I would divide it into three things. The first is audience. The second is product, and the third is distribution. When it comes to audience, it's very clear who Slack is targeting. I mean, they made it very clear verbally, which is the IT community, and in particular, startups and developers, right? We're targeting more mainstream knowledge workers, right? So white-collar workers here in Asia, right? So if we break that down, what does that actually mean, right? So two things. First is penetration of SaaS applications are very high, and they're using a lot of them at the same time. So the problem that they're facing is an inundation of various applications that are completely fragmented. So it made sense for them to just go the aggregator route, right? So what Stuart Butterfield has said is he will not create any structured products within Slack, which means like task management or calendaring, because they already have those tools in that market. But here in Asia and for the markets that we're serving, that's actually not the key problem. There's some fragmentation issue, but the reality is the key issue is that they're not, it's like weak or not or absent tools because they're using Kakao and they're using Groupware and maybe Dropbox. I mean, if I think about how many tools I use in the workplace, it's maybe 2 or 3. It's not like Silicon Valley where you're using 10 to 20. So for us, we're actually more focused on primary provision than on aggregation. So to the extent there are services that we can integrate into that we think make sense, like Dropbox or Google Docs that people are already using, we'll do that. But for everything else, we'll do ourselves because we have an example out in the market. So outside of the product itself, so beyond that, there's also localization, which is critical. So they're focused in the US, we're focused on Asia. I mean, at its most basic, it's language, but it's also local UI UX, right? It's no accident that our service looks like Kakao Talk. There's no accident that we're starting to build things like announcement features, message read badges, stickers, emoticons. Those are things very catered to the Asian market. And then finally, it's distribution. As I said, it's not enough to just build a good product. In the US it is, because employee adoption means the employer will adopt it eventually, but not here. You need the employer buy-in as well. So that's why we have 45 members. Half our team is business side, half our team is product development, and specifically to address that.
Could you tell me more details of your business models?
I'm sorry?
Business models? Tell me more details.
What's our detail?
Yeah,
so we're still in beta right now, so we haven't released our pricing plan. But what we're doing is not too dissimilar to most what I'll call new SaaS apps that are out there, consumer-facing ones like Slack, right? So we have our core product is free forever with most of the user-side functionality already included. Then there are premium plans where after you hit a certain threshold, then you'll have to start paying. And there's yet another threshold if you want specific security and administration features. So, for example, Dropbox, signed up for it, never thought I was going to pay. Year on, I've used like 5 gigabytes, and I'm not going to go and delete it. That's what we're going for, is show people that this is a valuable product, and we're confident that that's the case. And it will actually not only save them in terms of, like, we're going to make their lives simpler and more productive, but also that this is just downright sticky. Like, you can't get rid of it.
Other judges asked all the questions I wanted to ask about your company and product and so on. So I have a very personal question. From your bio, you come from TPG, right? So what made you decide to leave prestigious job as TPG and start this company? What is your drive behind running this company?
Yeah. Wasn't expecting that question. So when I think about an opportunity, it comes down to 2 or 3 things for me. The first is level of impact, right? So I look at how big of a problem it is for the world or whatever market that we're trying to serve, and I say, is that worth my time to go and attack? TPG was a great place to be if you want to be in corporate finance, but when it comes to how meaningful that is, what type of value I'm contributing to society, not very high, to be honest. Second is inspiration. I think it's, for me, grew up in a small town, grew up poor, and I want to show them that it's possible to just move wherever you want to go and build a business that does make an impact beyond yourself and beyond the situation that you grew up in. And then finally, it came down to team. I mean, the reality is we see multi-billion-dollar opportunities every single day. I mean, I could have done this in a place that makes a lot more sense for me, which likely would have been the US, but I came here because of those 45 guys out here, right? They're sitting right over there in that section, and those are the guys that I'm convinced can not only execute it, but I actually want to spend time with in and outside of work.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
네, 토스랩 대니엘에게 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 네, 그럼.
Hello? How are you? My name is Ji Tae. I'm the co-founder at MyRealPlan. MyRealPlan is a whole new way to buy and sell insurance. So now, what exactly does MyRealPlan do? Let's take a look. We do one very simple thing and do it really, really well. What we do is we provide a completely hassle-free insurance shopping experience for the customers. And at the same time, we provide customer intros to salesmen. So why do you need this kind of service, right? Because insurance shopping is considered very annoying, and it's really difficult to understand, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys experience this, right? When you're trying to buy insurance policies or whatnot, you don't know exactly what you're walking into. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to help you make very conscious and well-informed decisions, right? So how do you do it? How does it work? So you come to MyRealPlan, and what you got to do is you sign up and you request a plan. There's some personal information you have to fill out, as far as your income level, how much money you're willing to spend on an insurance plan, and what insurance plan you might need, right? Cancer policy or just regular, general medical bill policies, what have you. So once that is done, it takes you about 30 seconds, and once that process is done, boom, you just gotta wait, right? You wait, you give it a little time for salesmen to bid, right? Looking at your personal, insurance need, they create their insurance plans and they bid for you. Now, bidding here doesn't mean price is the only factor. In any conventional auction or bidding system, price is the only factor, right? But it's kind of silly to think that you're going to evaluate this insurance plan based on just price. So what we do instead is we evaluate your insurance plan or their insurance plan on 15 different criteria. Once that is done, you have a beautiful report like this. This explains why Plan A is better than Plan B and B better than Plan C. This gives you a graph and a chart. This makes you understand what you're walking into. So if you select Plan A, that means you're now connected to the person who came up with this plan in the first place. So the insurance salesman, right? So once you select, now you have an opportunity to actually buy that plan. And that person who created this plan has an opportunity to meet you in person and turn you into an actual customer. So let me talk about the market. How big is the market, right? It's a $100 billion market in Korea alone. It's a really, really big market. But about 1% of that right now is online. $1 billion currently is online. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get paid by the salesman. There are 400,000 salesmen in Korea. We're charging them somewhere between $100 to $20 a month so that they can use our service to meet new customers, right? If you do the math, our addressable market is pretty huge because we have 400,000 salesmen, like I said, and if you're charging $100 from them each month, that's that's $48 million a month. That's a pretty big market. $480 million a year. We have our service fully up and running right now. It took us about 6 to 7 months to develop the algorithm that's in place right now that effectively evaluates meaningful variables in your insurance plan. And we've been doing target marketing, and all of our growth has been organic. We've spent no marketing fund, and we're getting about 10 to 20 plan requests per day, and over 160 salesmen signed up. This is pretty cool because if you know insurance industry at all, each personal information is worth about $50, right? So every day, we're getting $500 to $1,000 value added to our service every single day, right? On a good day, we have like 37. So it's pretty, it's organically growing. So where we want to go, we want to really make our product really, really fantastic, right? We want to make it so that it meets customer demand 100% of the time. So if you need insurance, you have to come to our site because this is the best way to make the right decision on what you're buying into, what insurance plan you're buying into. So we want to get our numbers as high as possible, right? We eventually want to just, kind of an ambitious dream, but we want to take over the insurance industry, insurance market in Korea. We want to make incremental disruption where we're not getting rid of all the salesmen in Korea. There are 400,000 salesmen in Korea. We don't want to get rid of them, right? We want to work with them. We want to work with them. We want to foster their ecosystem so that they can use our service more. So who we are? Can we execute this plan? We're just a bunch of people who used to be in finance, insurance, and also in IT. We have former Samsung engineers and former product designers at Samsung Life and Prudential Life. So these people have been doing product design at those companies for 15 plus years. So they really know what a good insurance plan is and what not a good insurance plan is. So I myself was at George Washington University. I grew up in LA, but I went to George Washington University and I studied finance. And I was part of this research project that was very insurance intensive, right? And I was working with people at UChicago at the time, and I was in line to go to Chicago for grad school. But I thought, I can actually do a startup with this idea, right? Because if I can effectively solve information asymmetry between customers and insurance salesmen, there's a big market. So here I am. This is MyRealPlan. Thank you. Buy insurance today, everybody.
I should say I like your service. I could have probably used the service that you provide, but I just have one question. It seems like you're ranking different plans from it seems like you're ranking different plans from different salespeople based on the benefits that the plans provide to the users, right? And the users make their decision based on the rankings that you provide. So in this model, seems like the trust or the credibility seems to be very important. So what is your plan to gain the trust and the credibility from the user space?
Thank you for the question. That's something that we talk about a lot. How are we going to really make an impact, right? So the real question is how to get people to trust us first, right? How to get people to trust our system is the best. We have a very objectively made algorithm that's in place, but I don't think that's what people like the most, right? We can claim that this is 100% correct, but that doesn't mean the business is going to do well just because of that. So what we're trying to do is branding. We want to do branding. We want to just deliver just top-notch customer experience and just give them the feeling that they're making very, very conscious and well-informed decisions. Once they get the feeling, and people, because people are smart and people want to think they're smart, if they're making those kind of very conscious decisions through us, I think that's going to add on to the branding, right? And so we're trying to create this cycle of just branding and marketing. So that's an issue that I'm sure a lot of startups go through, but we're at a place where we're in a unique place because we're the first one to do it, right? We're the first to be trying something like this. So I think that's already resonating with the early adopters that are coming to our site every day, 10, 20 plans requests. If you ask any insurance agent, right, how valuable is that, right? They're going to say at least $50 per pop. So I think that says something about our branding. I think it's going to, as time goes by, it's going to be stronger. I'm not sure if that answers your question. But.
네, 그 비즈니스 모델에서 그 서브스크립션 모델로 지금 이제 월 피를 받는 구조로 디자인을 하셨는데 한국 내에서라고 하면 보험 설계사라고 총칭하는 세일즈맨의 숫자가 감소하는 추세로 저는 알고 있었는데 그 마켓 포캐스팅이 전제로 하셨던 오프라인에서 온라인으로 넘어오는 추세가 빠를수록 핵심 비즈니스 모델이 되는 대상자, 세일즈맨 숫자도 급격하게 감소될 것으로 예상이 되는데 그거에 대비하는 어떤 다른 비즈니스 모델이 있나요?
제가 이거는 한국말로 대답하겠습니다. 그 국내에 한 40만 명 정도의 보험 설계사분들이 지금 활동을 하고 계시는데 그 줄어들진 않고 있어요. 근데 실제로 액티브하게 활동하는 사람들이 줄어드느냐고 물어보시면 아마 그럴 거예요. 예, 그렇게 말씀하신 것 같은데 맞습니다. 왜냐하면 옛날에 지인 영업이나 대면 영업으로 한국에서 기존에 많이 보험을 가입하셨던 분들이 이제 그거에 대한 불신이 있어요. 그렇기 때문에 온라인에서 알아보고 싶은데 못 알아보는 거거든요. 근데 결정적인 건 뭐냐면 온라인에서 알아봤다고 해서 온라인에서 가입까지 가느냐? 절대 그렇지 않아요. 왜냐면 국내 외국도 어느 정도 그렇겠지만 특히 국내에서는 자기가 이제 인슈런스 플랜을 받아도 이게 내가 정말 맞는 플랜인지를 확인받고 싶어하는 심리가 굉장히 큰데 이제 전문가한테 한번 물어보고 싶은 거죠. 그래서 설계사한테 물어보고 싶은데 그 파이널 디시전 정말 사인까지 가는 디시전은 설계사가 도와줘야 되는 디시전이라고 생각을 해요. 실제로 그렇고요. 실제로 우리나라의 생명보험사들이 굉장히 많은 생명보험사들이 그 온라인 다이렉트 보험을 하고 있어요. 선전도 많이 하는데 실질적으로 거기서 일어나는 컨버전 레이트이 0.0 몇 프로가 안 돼요. 그 이유가 뭐냐면 실제로 자기가 디시전까지 가는 데는 누군가의 퍼스널 터치가 필요하다는 거예요. 그렇기 때문에 저희는 그런 퍼스널 터치를 하게끔 도와주는 것이지 다른 비즈니스 모델 지금 말씀하신 거 제가 정확하게 이해했는지 모르겠는데 세일즈맨이 숫자가 줄어들면 어떻게 될 거냐, 그럼 비즈니스 모델 어떻게 가져갈 수 있을 것이냐 했을 때 저희는 그거에 대한 큰 컨설은 없습니다. 왜냐하면 세일즈맨이 늘 있어야 되는 사람들이고 그 사람들이 파이널 디시전을 이끌어내는 사람들이기 때문에 그 사람들과 같이 가야 되는 비즈니스 모델이라고 생각을 해요. 예. Any other question from you guys?
How do you plan on making some really sticky marketing? I
Can
know
you
I've
speak a little louder?
Oh, sure. Sorry, I'm kind of curious about your marketing because I know I don't think too much about insurance most of the time. It's something I do and in very long intervals, and I usually take my advice from like a computer graphics generated gecko who speaks with a British accent, and I'm like curious how you can try to get that into people's minds when they're ready to go and get insurance, how they're going to know about you.
How are they going to know about me? The service.
About the service.
About the service. Yeah, I mean, that's marketing and branding, right? How to get it out there is really a big question. We've been doing no marketing but targeting marketing, which means we've been just kind of targeting people that have expressed their need for insurance online, right? On their blogs or whatever, we target them. And our response rate is over 30%, right? 30% of the people who have been, who have received the message from us eventually come to our site and request a plan. So what that means is these people we consider as early adopters in insurance business, right? Because a lot of the times people don't actively look for insurance. It's kind of a passive thing. So if these people who are actively looking for insurance, early adopters, if our service is resonating with them, we're going to have followers, right? I think that's what we're trying to work with. We're trying to work on. So at this point, because the service has been launched only for 3.5 months, it's already resonating with the early adopter community, which means we're going to have eventually big following, right? That's what we're convinced of, at least. I don't know if that answers the question. Yeah, thank you. Anything?
Okay, thank you, 지태.
Good?
Thank you for your feedback, judges.
Thank you.
큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 네, 그러면 이제 첫 번째
이제 비트겐슈타인이 옛날 옛적에 말하기를 말할 수 없는 것엔 침묵하랍니다. 그래서 우리 조선인들은 실제로 모르는 것에는 많이 침묵을 해왔습니다. 근데 요즘엔 세상이 바뀌어서 사람들이 침묵을 안 합니다. 왜냐면 모르는 것이 있으면 구글링하면 다 나옵니다. 이렇게 우리는 변화된 세상 속에서 살아가고 있습니다. 우리가 제일 많이 하는 일이 이렇게 심사위원이라 이렇게 같은 많은 팀원들 사이에서 하나의 아젠다를 통해서 프로젝트를 진행하는 것인데요. 만약에 제가 여기서 프로모션 무비를 만든다고 가정을 해보겠습니다. 팀원들끼리. 여기 뭐 시나리오 쓰는 사람들도 있을 거고 개발자도 있을 거고 영상을 기획하는 사람도 있을 겁니다. 그런데 이제는 옛날 같았으면 이제 저희의 리소스, 내가 어떤 스타일의 영화를 원한다 그러면 내가 이전에 했던 것을 건넸어야지만 소통을 할 수가 있잖아요. 근데 지금 같은 경우는 이제 비메오나 유튜브나 이렇게 웹상에 있는 많은 다양한 컨텐츠를 통해서 내가 원하는 것을 표현할 수 있는 세상이 되었습니다. 근데 문제는 여기 있습니다. 이렇게 하나의 아젠다에 대해서 프로모션 영상 하나 만드는 걸로 얘기를 하는데 너무 다양한 툴들을 쓰고 있습니다. 이게 왜 그런가 봤더니 이 각각의 버티컬한 툴들은 너무나도 베스트입니다. 너무나도 훌륭한 툴들입니다. 내가 어떤 파일들을 공유하고 싶을 때는 드롭박스만한 게 없습니다. 내가 만약에 웹사이트 클리핑하고 싶으면 또 에버노트만한 게 없습니다. 그렇기 때문에 이렇게 좋은 버티컬한 툴들로 사람들이 정보를 각각 다 저장을 하고 있습니다. 그래서 우리의 정보는 진짜 어디냐? 저는 거기에만 초점을 맞췄습니다. 하나의 아젠다에 대해서 토론을 하기 때문에 하나의 아젠다에 대해서 프로젝트를 하기 때문에 그 어떤 바운더리를 주자. 그리고 여기에다가 마구마구 끌어모을 수 있게 해보자. 그게 저희의 의도였습니다. 그래서 이메일 같은 경우는 내가 하고 싶은 프로젝트 외에도 다른 프로젝트가 너무 많습니다. 그래서 찾기가 굉장히 어렵고요. 드롭박스는 굉장히 최고의 툴이지만은 링크도 없고 유튜브도 없고 비메오도 없습니다. 결국에 이럴 때는 다른 툴을 써야 됩니다. 에버노트가 그러니까 인포메이션을 모을 때는 가장 훌륭하지만 에버노트 같은 경우도 어떻게 보면은 여러 명이서 이 에버노트를 썼을 때는 굉장히 편리하지가 않습니다. 왜냐면은 실제로 써보신 분들 알겠지만 에버노트 막 쓰다 보면 충돌 나서 다른 충돌 노트라고 저장이 되거든요. 그래서 저희는 화이트보드에 베이스로 깔고 에버노트와 드롭박스를 3대2 비율로 섞었습니다. 그래서 나온 것이 바로 비캔버스입니다. 저희가 정보를 조금 다르게 보려고 합니다. 그래서 이번에 비글로벌 2025 피치 나온다고 해서 심사위원분들에 대해 너무 알고 싶었습니다. 그래서 막 조사를 해봤더니 그 이름만 보내주신 겁니다. 행사 관계자분이. 그래서 저는 모른다고 침묵하지 않고 구글을 통해서 찾았습니다. 예, 그 틴더님도 찾았고 제이슨, 에리킴 다 제가 링크드인과 구글링을 통해서 다 찾았습니다. 그리고 그분들이 나온 영상까지도 찾았습니다. 이렇게 나는 내가 몰랐던 것에 대해서 웹을 통해서 또 다른 거대한 힘을 통해서 무언가를 설명할 수 있습니다. 표현할 수 있습니다. 공유도 굉장히 간단합니다. 그냥 기존에 쓰던 툴을 바꿔라 이런 말 안 하겠습니다. 이메일 쓰시던 분, 슬랙 쓰시던 분, 아까 나온 잔디, 그다음 틴더 그냥 링크만 공유하면 됩니다. 그러면은 아주 아까처럼 심리상 화면을 인터넷과 브라우저만 있다면 바로 볼 수가 있습니다. 그래서 저희는 비주얼 인포메이션 쉐어링 툴을 만들고 있습니다. 아주 강력한 무기입니다. 그래서 이거에 대한 영상을 간단하게 보여드리면 설명을 드리겠습니다. 이렇게 캔버스를 만들고요. 유튜브를 표현하고 싶다. 단순하게 검색을 해가지고 드래그 앤 드롭을 하면 됩니다. 그럼 내가 아주 손쉽게 표현을 할 수가 있습니다. 그다음 각각의 컨텐츠들은 다 아노테이트를 할 수 있고요. 그래서 나만의 컨텍스트를 부여를 할 수가 있습니다. 이렇게 바로바로 재생도 가능하죠. 사운드 클라우드 슬라이드 쉐어, 그러니까 내가 뭔가를 표현하고 싶은데 나는 모르겠고 누군가가 썼을 것 같은 것들을 그냥 간단하게 다 넣을 수가 있는 겁니다. 블로그 하나 쓰는데 솔직히 한 10분 걸립니다. 1시간 걸립니다. 근데 블로그 퍼오는데 1분도 안 걸립니다. 이렇게 링크 같은 것도 공유를 하고 파일도 드래그 앤 드롭으로 쉽게 공유할 수가 있습니다. 그리고 이미지 같은 경우는 저희가 어떤 특정한 이미지 부위가 마음에 안 들면 텍스트로 그걸 묘사하기는 굉장히 어렵잖아요. 예를 들면 이 부처님에 대해서 묘사하기는 굉장히 쉽지 않을 겁니다. 근데 우리가 이 부처님에 대해서 명확한 위치에다가 이그젝트한 포지션의 코멘트를 딱 달 수 있는 거죠. 이 모든 것은 캔버스를 한눈에 볼 수 있습니다. 그리고 이 캔버스는 제가 만든 하나의 특정한 아젠다에 대한 종이 한 장입니다. 우리는 AA와 같이 A4 용지 한 장을 판다고 보시면 됩니다. 내가 웹상에 있는 콘텐츠를 통해 더 뭔가를 풍부하게 설명할 수 있는 그런 것들을 파는 개념이죠. 이렇게 공유할 수 있고요. 예, 여기까지입니다. 그래서 저희는 지금 12,000명의 유저를 확보한 상황이고 70%의 유저가 재방문자거나 아니면은 공유받은 캔버스를 통해 들어온 사람입니다. 그래서 19분의 평균 접속 시간을 갖고 있습니다. 그래서 이를 기반으로 저희가 얼마 전에 2억 원을 투자를 받았고요. 비즈니스 모델은 굉장히 간단한데 드롭박스처럼 저희는 클라우드 스토리지를 팝니다. 근데 드롭박스는 USB를 셀하잖아요. 저희는 페이퍼를 셀하겠습니다. 아주 간단한데 드롭박스는 USB를 클라우드로 뻥 띄웠더니 가치를 사람들한테 인정을 받았고, 그럼 우리도 한번 종이를 클라우드로 뻥 띄워봤을 때 사람들이 가치를 인정해 줄 것이냐, 그게 저희한테 가장 큰 허들이라고 보고 있습니다. 이 부분을 극복하기 위해서 반복적으로 저희가 개발 사이클을 돌고 있습니다. 그래서 비전. 그래서 저는 사람들이 말하잖아요. 어떤 계층 간의 격차를 죽이기 위해서는 교육이 최우선이다. 아니, 저는 이제는 정보라고 생각합니다. 칸 아카데미 무료 교육 툴 좋은 거 많잖아요. 근데 대부분의 사람들 칸 아카데미 잘 모릅니다. 정보의 격차가 저는 교육의 격차도 더욱 심화시킨다고 보기 때문에 사람들이 내가 모르는 것에 대해서도 웹이라는 거대한 힘을 통해서 어떤 표현을 할 수 있는 그런 형태를 만들고 싶습니다. 그래서 어떤 능력 차이가 이 정도 나는 사람도 웹이라는 거대한 힘을 통해서 조금 더 자신의 생각을 쉽고 편하게 표현할 수 있는 그런 세상을 만들어 보고 싶습니다. 저에겐 이 비전을 함께할 아주 멋진 동료들이 있습니다. 그리고 이들은 다 군대도 전역했고 아미, 원, 마린입니다. 그래서 이 친구들과 저는 일단 결혼도 안 했고 처자식도 없고 그냥 이 비전, 이 내가 목표하는 이 세상을 만들기에만 집중을 하면 되게 돼 있습니다. 우리는 모두 개발자고 앞으로 열심히 달릴 일만 남았습니다. 저희 진정성 있게 열심히 하겠습니다. 마쓰시다 고노스케가 말하기를 도전하는 것보다 진정하는 것이 더 아름답다고 했습니다. 저도 진정성 있게 이 목표를 달성하도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Can you speak to your long-term mobile app strategy? Do you think you're going to need a mobile app for your company as well? Because right now it's just desktop, right? 지금 모바일 앱 있어요?
네, 모바일 앱 예.
있어요?
이 아예 디벨로핑 중입니다.
지금 하고 있어요?
예. iOS 앱은 오늘 나왔습니다. Today release iOS.
근데 장기적으로 보면은 is it an important part of your strategy to have mobile app or do you want this to be more a desktop?
예. I agree. 예.
Okay.
그래서 모바일과 데스크탑의 어떤 싱크로나이제이션을 더 원활하게 하기 위해서 고민을 많이 하고 있습니다.
네. 오케이.
일단은 사전 자료를 봤던 것보다는 PT 피칭하시면서 얘기하시는 게 훨씬 더 좋은 것 같고요. 고민은 이런 고민이 있는 거예요. 그러니까 어떤 유저를 대상으로 이 프로덕트를 만드셨나에 대한 고민이 좀 있는 것 같아요. 그러니까 원격 근무를 하는 협업 관계자는 보통은 기능 모듈별로 나눠져 있기 때문에 화이트보드를 같이 그리는 일들이 거의 없다라고 저는 경험을 했었거든요. 그러면 저렇게 화이트보드를 같이 쓰는 케이스가 어떤 유저들 혹은 어떤 사용자들을 대상으로 하고 있는지 좀 설명을 주시면 좋을 것 같아요.
저희는 비캔버스의 사용자들을 막 예술가들이라고 부릅니다. 그 비공개 그룹 이름도 예술가들이고 실제로 저희 디자이너들이나 음악 하시는 분이나 그런 분들이 비캔버스를 많이 쓰고 있습니다. 그러니까 자신을 표현하는 데 있어서 좀 더 다양한 수단을 원했던 겁니다. 에버노트나 메일이나 어떤 비주얼한 자기들의 만든 컨텐츠나 그런 것을 풍부하게 표현을 할 수가 없었습니다. 그래서 지금 이용하고 있는 대부분의 고객들도 디자이너나 어떤 예술 계층에 종사하고 있는 분들이 많고 스타트업 분들도 꽤 이용하고 계신데 그 스타트업에 뭔가를 추천하는 사람들은 기획자거나 아니면 디자이너인데 기획자들 중 굉장히 아트한 일을 많이 하는 기획자들 보통 그렇게 많이 쓰고 있습니다.
그렇다면 접근하고자 하는 마켓이 너무 작거나 편협된 사용자층만 공격하고 있는 건 아닌가요? 혹시 접근하고 방금 이제 예술가 쪽 또는 약간 창의적인 작업을 하시는 사용자들을 대상으로 해당 프로덕트가 런칭을 한 거라면 예상하시는 마켓 사이즈는 어느 정도로 지금 보고 계시는 건가요?
그래서 지금은 마케팅 자체는 페이스북을 통해서 하고 있는데 저희가 컨텐츠를 직접 만들면 저희가 가장 인기 있었던 컨텐츠는 옛날에 스티브 잡스가 아니라 그 아이폰 6가 나올 때 피치들이 막 여러 가지가 있었습니다. 막 그 한글로 바꿔주는 데도 있고 여기저기서 생중계를 했었는데 저희가 그 유튜브를 몇 개를 막 모았었습니다. 한 보드 안에다가 그거를 공유했을 때 사용자들이 5분 안에 그냥 페이스북에 제 개인 페이스북으로 올렸는데 200명 이상이 동시에 접속을 했습니다. 그런 거를 통해서 비캔버스라는 개념에 대해서 조금 더 익숙해지게 만들고 싶습니다. 그래서 저는 아직은 개발 단계에서는 디자이너와 같은 특정한 세그먼트를 안 하고서는 어떤 사람에 뭘 맞춰야 될지 정확히 모르기 때문에 일단 그분들에 대해서 툴 베이스의 그런 디벨로핑하는 포인트는 잡고 그다음에 확장을 해나가기 위해서 비캔버스에 대한 개념, 이런 비주얼한 캔버스로 뭔가를 저장한다는 그 개념을 먼저 저희가 납득을 시키려고 하고 있습니다. 그렇게 순서대로 가면서 조금 시간을 두고 천천히 그것을 정복해 나갈 계획입니다.
뭐 말씀 주신 것처럼 뭐 디자이너 분들이 활용을 하시거나 아니면 뭐 자기를 이렇게 표현한다거나 자유롭게 쓰기에는 상당히 좋은 것 같아요. 근데 또 다른 면에서 보자면 자유도가 워낙에 높다 보니까 뭔가 이게 구조화가 되어 있는 형태가 아니라 그냥 캔버스잖아요. 뭔가를 막 이렇게 거기다 이제 가져다 놓을 수 있는. 그러다 보니까 일반적인 제너럴한 어떤 비즈니스 세팅에서 쓰기는 조금 더 어려울 수도 있겠다라는 생각이 좀 있어요. 그래서 뭔가 섹터별로 혹은 목표별로, 버티컬별로 뭐 특화된 템플릿이나 아니면은 목적별로 뭔가 특화를 시키실 그런 계획이 있으신 건지 그게 좀 궁금해요.
예, 지금 커스텀 템플릿 개발을 하고 있고요. 지금까지 나온 거는 링 캔버스하고 비즈니스 모델 캔버스가 있습니다. 그래서 그냥 빈 공간에 클릭해서 그 비즈니스 모델이나 링 캔버스를 쓸 수 있는 형태로 되어 있는데 저희가 아까 말씀하신 그 빈 종이 자체가 너무나도 되게 너무 자유롭잖아요. 그래서 그 미들 단계의 어떤 커스텀 템플릿을 개발해야 된다고 생각을 하고 있습니다. 그래서 디자이너 분들이나 아니면 다른 분들이 어떤 특정한 템플릿, 근데 우리가 MS 워드 같은 데도 템플릿은 많지만 쓸모는 없잖아요. 그래서 그런 템플릿, 진짜 사람들이 쓸 수 있는 템플릿을 찾는 게 가장 중요한 과제라고 보고 있고, 그런 미들 커스텀 템플릿이 있다는 데는 저희가 동의를 하고 계속해서 고민을 하고 있습니다.
Okay, thank you for your pitching and thank you, judges. 네, 감사합니다.
네, 감사합니다.
네, 큰 박수.